What's going on everyone, Lockie from Outback Tourer. Today we're doing a difference between our X Plus tent and, sorry that's actually the other way around, our X Plus tent and our Plus tent. So even I'm confused. Now, so they are the same, essentially the same shell. There's a couple of little features here. If you have a keen eye, you might have noticed the detailing on the extrusions are a little bit different. Like there's a slight distinguishing factors, but fundamentally they are the exact same shell, same height, different extrusion in the Plus here so we can fit that X hinge inside on the X there. But other than that, this was our original Plus tent and everyone's been loving it for the past couple of years. It's been awesome. You can get all your bedding in it. It's got the thick canvas. So we thought we might combine our X tent, which was also another popular one, into like a hybrid model, which become the X Plus. So we'll pop these up and we'll run through some differences and why you might choose one or the other and which one will suit you best. So first one we'll pop up. This is the original Plus, which is the clamshell. So this one, you'll see, just comes up like that, and this tent comes down to a point like this. We'll pop this X Plus up and I'll show you the difference there. So there's two more latches on this one. We've got two at the back as well because there is a little bit more going on. So undo those and you'll see the difference here. So same like the Plus, you only have to pull up from the back. There's no extra work here. So even though to get a bit more with the tent, you don't actually have to do anything else. You can see immediately we have that extra section back there which we'll discuss. So that X hinge we just mentioned, this is the same X frame that we've had in our the Slimline X tents. We had to revise it slightly for the X Plus just because it's a different extrusion. But what it does is this allows the tent to open an extra couple 100 mil. So if you're over 6 foot, this is going to be really good for you. Essentially it takes up the same platform on your roof, but you've got this whole extra section. We'll throw the camera inside in a sec. We'll show you the extra window you also get, but for not a lot more money, I think it is, something to definitely think about if you wanted a bit more room in one of these tents. With this window, this is the one I was just mentioning, so having that X frame on the outside, now it's very important we have the X hinge on the outside of the tent. We do not want it on the inside of the tent because otherwise when you're trying to push canvas in, it's going to squeeze it and potentially crease or tear the canvas. So X hinge on the outside, and that gives us this whole section. Now, advantages of having this section at the front, you can sleep both ways. When you have the clamshell tent, I'll show you soon, you need to, when you come in, you generally need to spin yourself around to sleep at the other end. Otherwise your head is too far against the shell. So being able to put your pillows here and having a bit more breeze at night is awesome. The rain, because the shell overlaps this window, you can have this open when it rains still, but if it's blowing sideways, you can just as easily zip this guy up. So just to show you that comparison, we've jumped back in the standard Plus tent. This is what I was saying. This one comes down to a bit of a point and we've only got 100 mil there. Now, this is more of a gap compared to your standard clamshells tent because this does have a wide extrusion on the base, which was done purposefully. So you can tuck the tent in nicely. There's a full demo of how it all tucks in on the walkthrough of the Plus tent we just did the other day. But there's still a fair bit of room for feet here. Like, I'll demonstrate with a shoe maybe instead of getting right in there. There's still a fair bit of room, but you imagine, you're sleeping like that. This is when you might want, if you're over 6 foot, you might want a bit more room down here, but for most people, it's, a bit more simplistic. You might not want that extra hinge, still works well, but you will have to sleep with your head up that end because you imagine you put a pillow there, you're gonna be right up against that roof. So there's one advantage of having that X frame that you might not have considered. If that doesn't worry you and you're like my height, I'm unfortunately under 6 foot, but can't win them all. Bruh. This one, doesn't worry me. I just sleep up the other end and it's fine. So not always a deciding factor, but something to think about. All right, we're back on the X version of this. So the only extra step you do have to do in this tent is there's another bar at the front here. And what this does is this goes forward, locks in, and then extends up. And then just locks away like that. So we'll show you side by side in a second to explain and give you a visual of this. But this whole section here, your standard clamshell will normally come down and finish here. But having this extra bar at the front, although it is a little bit more work, we're talking a couple of seconds here, it does allow you to have, it's essentially an extra 30% room inside this tent without taking up any more room on your roof. There's a little bit more weight, so if you're weight conscious, like we're talking about 5 to 7 kilos between the two tents, it's not a lot. If you're spending extra time in the heat up north and whatnot, or it also doubles up to get the warm air out of here for condensation. Even though we've got the extremely thick canvas, we still want to move that air out of here. Having extra ventilation always goes a long way, so awesome there. All right, now we've got both these front sections open. It's a lot easier to see what I was just explaining with this whole front section here. The original Plus, it doesn't have a section here. This is more like our traditional clamshell. And the Plus X obviously has this section as well. And with this tent, you do have to put this up. You can't operate the tent without putting that out. That's just a part of it. And when you buy it, you know, you've obviously liked this part, so you've committed to having this one. This section here, like we will drop both the full walkthrough videos below on both the tents for more detail. This is more of just the differences, but I thought I'll just show you this section does also open up as well. So if you do want to close this section off, you can roll the canvas down without having to put your head out the door and around the corner. It also serves as a multi-purpose. You can throw a beer up through that as well and, you know, kick back in your tent. So that's pretty well it for that front section. The rain flies are the exact same measurements. These are the same measurements we have pretty much across the entire range. We want to make sure on all the tents the rain fly actually covers the sides. Therefore, if you get rain in here or in here, you're going to get weather protection. In our opinion, there is no point having two poles because you're only going to be able to cover that much of the side, and you will still get rain in here and in here. So for an extra 10 seconds work, put the fourth pole out, and then you've got heaps of weather protection. So which one would you choose? That's entirely up to you. There's obviously $400 between them. It's that $400, that is everything to some people and a small compromise to others. Like that's $400 you can put towards another product, you know, other campsites, fuel for your trip, something like that. Bear that in mind. If you are over 6 foot, I would probably advise, I'd say like you'll get away with this one if you're like 6'1", 6'2", but like I'm talking over 6'2", 6'3", like you're really not going to fit in these ones, guys. You're going to be curled up in, I know you like to smash the tins and sleep in fetal position, but every now and then you might need a recovery night and you're not going to be super comfy in this one. So if you're a bit taller or you just want a bit more room, this one will work for you. Personally, I'd run the standard clamshell. That's the one I've run for 5 years. I'm pretty simplistic. I just like up, down, easy. But Christian and the rest of the team, they all opt for this one here. So again, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you need to reach out to see how does this one fit to my tent, to my vehicle, and what size is going to work well for me. Reach out. Happy to answer all your questions 7 days a week. Cheers.